is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here today. It's a good day. It's a good day because we once again get to come on here and talk about this awesome chapter, chapter 1052, in preparation for the final chapter before the 1 month hiatus in 1053. Now, the main topic of this week's video, the reason why the pen is in my hand and I've got the notebook right here is because we're going to go through each individual character that I believe is about to get a bounty increase in the next chapter and talk about them, man, because it's an exciting time. It's bounty season. This next chapter could realistically be so many different things. But at its core, I'm expecting Robin greatness, potential lore with the Poneglyph, the second half of the Joy Boy apology, or the second half of that story, connecting the Joy Boy stuff from Fishman Island to what takes place here, or what took place here in Wano. And maybe even that connects to Toki's mission from 800 years ago. I'm definitely expecting that type of greatness, whether it be revealed with Robin by herself, Robin with somebody like Denjiro, who was not in last week's chapter, or Robin talking to Greenbull. Now, Greenbull obviously is going to be huge. I'm expecting to see his face, his full character design next week. I'm so excited. The hype for Greenbull is extremely high. And what is Greenbull going to do? What is he here for? Is he here to collect Nico Robin? Is he here to collect the Straw Hats? Is he here to simply deliver some news? Is he here to collect Kaido and Big Mom? We do not know what Greenbull is going to be doing, and so exciting stuff on that end. As we stated in the Afterthoughts, the original Afterthoughts after the stream, which I highly recommend anybody watching if you want to get some more insight into how I felt about all of this and you did not watch the after reaction part of that stream. We had a lot of fun discussing potential possibilities for Greenbull. I'm one of those that believe that Greenbull is, this whole Greenbull and Nico Robin thing is actually a big bait. Like, I think Greenbull is legitimately from Wano, and his whole reason for fasting in the past couple of years has been for Wano's sake. And so he's not going to capture the Straw Hats just to repay that debt for the fact that they were able to free his country. And so for the first time in a very long time, 3 years, I think it said in 906, we're going to see him eat in this banquet because of his freed country. And it's going to be elevated even further if the theories are true and this man is actually Zoro's pops. Like, it's going to be crazy. So the Greenbull hype is real. Cannot wait to see more from him. He seems like a really fun character. He has a really nice gag in regards to flying in the air, coming in like he's a Fortnite character. I mean, really good stuff. Exciting stuff all around when it comes to potential title chapter name, right? Because it could be a Great Pirate Monkey D. Luffy, or that's the one that we come back with in 1054. You know how the 903 one was the Fifth Emperor. This chapter could be titled a lot of different things. Great Pirate, the 10th and the 11th. Laz told me about that in we were talking after that stream, and he was like, yo, what about if the chapter is titled the 10th and the 11th? And I told him, I was like, what about if the chapter is titled the 10th and the 11th and the 12th? Because we could have 3 new crew members joining here. We could have Jinbei, Yamato, and Tama. You feel me? So there's a lot of different possibilities for chapter title names, and I'm looking forward to seeing which one is chosen, but we're definitely expecting the big banquet to take place here within this next chapter. It's going to be extremely exciting. But Yamato's interactions with the crew this week just like further solidified in my mind how great of a decision it would be if she were to join the crew. She just adds so much to the table in regards to character interactions, which is the most important thing when it comes to being a crew member. And we need it. We need it, man. And of course, cannot wait to see Jinbei get the official initiation. And if Tama ends up joining with Mama Nami, you know, it would be pretty nice as well. So we'll see what happens on that end. Just a lot of really cute and beautiful panels in this latest chapter when it comes to the Yamato and Luffy stuff, Zoro and Chopper stuff. Just overall, very wholesome, great stuff on that end. And I most certainly look forward to seeing how the entire chapter is going to be balanced, right? Like, this is a chapter that is going to have to balance a lot of different things. I don't know how long it's going to be, but there's a lot to discuss here, which is why I think what Oda means by Final Saga is that we're going to be entering the post-Wano transitional arc after this next chapter, right? And so it doesn't necessarily have to mean that the Straw they have to leave Wano. Like, this next chapter could end off on simply the Banquet, with the classic Oda narrator stating this would lead to the craziest events ever, right? Classic Oda fashion. Or a cliffhanger, something crazy. We could see Shanks reacting to because we could very well see the reactions around the world to the bounty posters. There's so many different things, right? Massive cliffhangers, Kaido getting back up and being like, brother, it's time. You feel me? It's time for the biggest war the world's ever seen. And so there's a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that this chapter can end, especially if it's going to take us into a 1 month hiatus. And so because we expect to come back to Final Saga, like the beginning of the Final Saga, if we leave Wano this next chapter, like if we get all of that stuff, Greenbull, the poneglyphs, the reactions, Zunisha potentially thinking about Joy Boy, we get our first look into Joy Boy, Robin pulling down the Kozuki clan and Toki and all that stuff within the lore, more additional Joy Boy stuff there too. All that stuff, and then on top of that, we get the Banquet. It's going to be so wholesome, so beautiful, especially if Greenbull, if this is true and this is the reason why he hasn't been eating this whole time, like, that would be super cool. But the Banquet itself is still going to be really beautiful, like, especially after the way episode 982 handled the build-up to the Banquet. I am so excited to see that actually take place. So excited on that end, of course, for that, and of course the potential official confirmation of the crew joining. And then if we are leaving Wano next chapter, which I do not expect that to be the case, but then the dawn would have to the dawn would have to happen, the borders would have to open. So it's like there's a lot of stuff to cover, and I wonder how much of that we're actually gonna get this next chapter. So we'll see what happens, because like I said, there's a lot here, obviously. And so because the next chapter, because 1054 starts off the Final Saga, I'm going to stick with my guns on that. We probably will still be in Wano when the Final Saga starts. And what Oda means by Final Saga starting is we're entering the transition arc, which is going to kickstart the Final Saga, which is post-Wano, directly connects. What takes place in post-Wano has direct connections to what is about to happen in the Final Saga. And it makes sense, considering that whenever we have around the world act breaks, like in Act 1 act break, Act 2 act break, we saw what was happening around the world and how that had direct connections to what was happening in Wano as well. And so after Wano, we expect that to continue, where we may continue to see what's happening in Wano as we leave, while we look around the world and see all the insanity that's taken place within the last 7 days, and even further beyond that, right? And so I'm fully expecting us to probably still be in Wano after this next chapter, but it is going to kickstart the Final Saga in terms of 1054 and the story stuff happening from then on out. Then we'll have an opportunity to leave Wano, go into the next arc and whatever, see all the craziness around the world and whatever takes place there, right? But before we get into all of that, before all of the insanity takes place, I'm going to assume we're going to get bounties this next chapter based on the way this week's chapter ended. At the very least for Law and Kid. And if Law and Kid are getting bounties, then I'm going to assume the rest of us are getting bounties too. So, because I was looking back or thinking back to the 100 Million Man chapter and the way that Oda has handled bounty reveals before. And they always have a special thing to them, right? Like the 100 Million Man was really special. The Posting His Lobby one was really special. The one in Dressrosa was special because of the Sanji Wanted Only Alive stuff. And then the 1.5 Bill chapter was extremely special. So if this next chapter also has the bounties, I expect it to be revealed in some special type of way, right? And I wonder, because I don't think these are the final bounties, I do think we still have one more batch of bounties after this. If that's the case, then we may save the most special reveal of the bounty for then, because the way I was thinking about it in my head was, maybe we'll wait on revealing Luffy's bounty in particular until he arrives at a new island. People look at his face and be like, yo, is that the billion bounty man? Monkey D goat man? You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how they would get the reveal of what their new bounties are. Like, that would be super cool. especially later on down the line, whenever, you know, you're already so goated, it's like, yo, your number is only going to keep going up. And so that might end up being the case in the final saga when we get the next bounty reveal, potentially after Elbath, or as we head into Laugh Hill, whatever it is, right? There probably will be another opportunity for bounty increase. And if this is the final bounty increase, then so be it. But I think there's probably going to be one more. But with that pretext in there of, I believe this is going to be the second to last bounties of the Straw Hats. Here we go, man. So I have a list of characters here, list of bounties, a list of potential possibilities, and excuse me, I am not going to be looking at the comment section starting today. I'm recording this on Saturday. Starting today, I'm going into a bunker. Y'all ain't gonna see me. I mean, I'm gonna continue uploading videos, of course, but y'all ain't gonna see me active on like comments, the socials, and that stuff until the chapter comes out. So, because I'm taking the most utmost like precautions for this one. This is the final chapter before a hiatus. Y'all ain't catching me, especially with the way the last chapter ended. Y'all ain't catching me. There's way too much greatness that can take place here. Way too much greatness. Another bit of a pretext before going into this. I don't believe Yamato is going to have a bounty since she has not sailed off to sea yet, right? So if she does have a bounty, it's based on the potential of the insane Yamato greatness that could come in, and they're just putting a bounty on Yamato's side just because of being a child of Kaido and going up in like swimwear in the way that she did within this war. And that way I can see a bounty being put on her head, but I don't think there'll be one just yet. That's why, that is another one of the reasons why I don't think these are the final bounties, because I don't think Yamato's gonna get one. But if she does, that would be super dope. But let's get right into it, man. Bounty predictions. Starting us off with Tony Chopper, our boy. And I do believe the gag will continue, and he is gonna have the big 150. Our boy Chopper is gonna have the big 150, and it's gonna be great to see the reactions to that, right? Coming up next, we have our beloved cat burglar, Nami Greatness. This one and Luffy's, I have two separate ones just based on the way the story can go. They're the only two characters I have that are different like that. In Nami's, I see one of two cases happening. I see her either having a 99 million berry bounty, to have that gag of not having reached 100 mil. And the reason why I bring that up is because in chapter 903, Nami was complaining about Sanji, talking about, you know, oh, I reached 330 mil, like, oh, I'm that dude, I'm over Zoro too, like, yo, get Moss head out of here. And Nami's response to that was, yo, it's just a number. So it'd be really cool if we brought that full circle, and Nami's heated because she has not reached the 100 million mark like everyone else. She's going to be stuck at 99 million. So we could take that comedic approach, or Nami just goes up to 116 million. I think that's a pretty good number. So either we go the comedic approach, 99 mil, which I most certainly see, or we go the straight up approach, and I do think it'll be somewhere around like 116 million, because we're all going to be 100 mil at this point. We're all going to be 100 mil plus this point. We're going to be the most wanted crew in the world. We're going to be filthy. So coming up after Nami, of course, we got the Soul King. The man is selling platinum records all over the place. Brook, our boy, I think he's going to have 153 mil on his head. And they ain't gonna want to see our boy, man. That's the Soul King going up in the next somewhere. So 153 million for Brook. After that, our beloved Cyborg. I think he's gonna get a 100 mil increase, and it's gonna go up to 194 mil. Filthy out here on these seas, and it's gonna be interesting if, because of how notorious or the notoriety of the crew, with Frankie's face being plastered there alongside the new goat of the sea and Luffy, I wonder if we're gonna finally get to see his pops, in regards to his pops being like, oh, Frankie, like you're doing good of yourself, or you're making good of yourself, especially because, you know, his pops was a pirate, and that has to come back later on the line in some way, shape, or form. So if his pops is still alive, he's gonna notice that Frankie is here with the most talked about man in the world right now, which is Monkey D. So looking forward to seeing that, but I do think Frankie's going to get a 194 mil coming out of this arc. Usopp, man. Our beloved boy, the Soge Kingu. I think he's also going to get a 100 mil increase just for the culture. Just for the culture. 300 mil coming. And honestly, if Oda really wants to get in his bag with this one, it could go all the way up to 500 mil, and I would love it. I would love it, man. I'd be down for it. But I do think it's going to be 300 mil just to have that post in his lobby Luffy type of bounty. You know, he has the same bounty on his head that his captain had back in Eni's lobby. I think that would be really dope. So I would like to see 300 mil, but even better, 500 mil. I think that'd be cool. So 300 mil for our boy Usopp. Jinbei, man, our helmsman, our beloved GOAT man of the sea. All right, I think his is going to be huge. He's going to be coming back with 800 mil. 800 mil easy. Going up in like former helmsman of the sea, former Shichibukai. They're going to put some respect on our boy's name. He's going to have 800 mil on his head. Now we head into the crazy ones. I've been talking about this in almost every single stream I get asked about this question, especially after the Robin plotline was brought up by Robert D. Lucci within Onigashima. I think Robin is going to have the biggest increase out of everyone outside of Luffy. I think Robin's bounty increase is going to be huge, and it might be exactly 1 billion higher than what she had before, which was 130 mil. I think Robin coming out of this arc is going to be one of the most wanted individuals on the entire planet. And so this could be a low number. This could be a low number. But I'm going to go right here because I do not expect her to be higher than the Monster Trio. So I think Nico Robin coming out of this arc with the entire world now wanting her. Big Mom, Kaido, Blackbeard, I'm going to assume. Everyone, the Gordo say obviously want her too. 1,130 million. I think Robin is going to have a massive bounty increase, and as she should. The last individual, barring Pudding with the Awakening, right, and being able to read the poneglyphs in that way, which is what we're being led to assume is the case. Barring that, Robin is the last individual that can do this stuff, right? And so, obviously, the most important individual out in the market right now. And so, Robin, I'm going to say minimum, right? 1 bill. But for me, I'm going to go with a specific number, 1,130 million. I think it's going to be huge. Kurohashi no Sanji. Kurohashi no Black Leg Goat Man, Mr. Burgundy and Black. He's also going to go up a bill, and he's going to have 1,400 million. If we want to stick with the 300 thing because his name is San, I could see it being 1,300 million. But I'm going to go with 1,400 million for the culture. For the culture, all right? Roronoa, Goat Man Zoro. I fully expect this man, bare minimum, to be at 1,500 million. The right-hand man of the king. All right, the right-hand man of the most talked about dude on the sea. If word gets out of what he did within this arc, bare minimum 1,500 mil on his head, man. So Zoro greatness incoming. I'm fully expecting a massive increase for Zoro. And so I'm going to stick with him being a little higher than Sanji just to keep that gag going of like, oh, Sanji was higher here and now Zoro got back over him. So now we're going to have that very comedic part. Can you imagine? Like Sanji's bounty is something like 1,490,000,000 or 499,999,000, whatever. And then Zoro's is literally like 1 berry higher. Dude, that would be so good for the gags. For the gags, I would take it. But I'm fully expecting Zoro to have a massive, massive, massive bounty. Massive bounty, man. As he should. After this arc, as he should, right? Our beloved Goat Man, I'm expecting 1,500 million, and I honestly would not be shocked if it's even higher than that. So now, we head into the captains. We head into the potential individuals that are about to be shown off here. Now, before I talk about this, I do want to preface this by saying that I do expect us to see, maybe not next chapter, but in the transitional arc, the bounties of Mihawk, Buggy, Hancock, these individuals. And the reason why I bring that up is because we still don't know if the emperors that were being brought up last chapter were specifically talking about Kid and Law. Because sure, one of them may end up being an emperor. Luffy's already an emperor. So if they keep the 5 emperor system, then that means there's probably going to be 2 more emperors going to be named. Whether it be Kid, Law, the massive big theory since I've been in the YouTube anime community was Buggy, Mihawk, even though he's one dude, you know, he's that dude, and so if they call him an emperor, he's an emperor by the flag north, that's Mihawk, alright? If somebody calls him that, everybody's gonna be like, yo, we good. It's the equivalent of somebody getting a max contract who's a superstar quality. This man, Mihawk, is one of the greatest of all time. You give that man emperor status, everybody's gonna nod their head and be like, yo, he deserves it. And your excuse within the One Piece world is gonna be like, oh, he doesn't have any territories, he doesn't need it. He's a single man on a single boat, and nobody messes with him. That alone tells you that's that dude. That's that dude. And so if Mihawk wants to become an emperor, he's gonna be an emperor. By the flag north, and I think if that were to happen, that'd be awesome. That'd be goated. Alright, so that was always a possibility. Mihawk, of course. Buggy is the biggest possibility. I think that one's sure in. I think by the end of the series, Buggy will be an emperor. I don't know if it's going to be this soon, but I do expect that to be the case. And so I'm going to preface that with that, because if we do see them next week in regards to them being the new emperors of the sea, and maybe even their reactions, maybe even their bounties, I did not write any numbers for them, but if they are going to be coming up as emperors here, some of them, and seeing all of them and then comparing them to each other, it's going to be a whole bunch of bounties, then I'm expecting Buggy and or Mihawk and or Hancock, all these individuals, Weevil, all the Shichibukai who are no longer there, we're going to see their bounties eventually. But the individuals who end up being emperors, we might see them next week in regards to their bounties. So I preface that with that. Now, with that being said, I think Law is going to have a clean 2-bill. I think Law, even though, like I said in the reaction, and based on MVP status, I think Law should... Law's greatness was on full display within this arc, man. But because of the way I think the newspaper is going to talk about this in terms of Kid, I think Kid and Luffy are going to get a majority of the... of what took place here, the majority of the credit of what took place here. Maybe they'll divide it in 3. But because of the alliance already previously established with Luffy and Law, I do think that we're going to have a scenario where either the emperors that are going to be established on the sea are not Kid and Law, and in actuality, we're going to have, like I said, one of the Shichibukai or somebody else, because they consider Law and Kid to be a part of Luffy's alliance after this. But since I do definitely believe that Kid is going to be an emperor, like I think that's been written in stone since Sabaody. If that's the case, then I think Kid's bounty will be higher than Law's, and Law's will be clean 2-bill, still being a very notorious individual out on these seas, and obviously potentially being an emperor too. And so Law, I'm going to go with a clean 2-bill, and I'm going to go with Kid being just a little higher with 2.1, because I don't think it's going to reach New World of Blackbeard status with his bounty. But I do expect him to be just a tad bit lower than that, right? So I'm fully expecting Kid to have a higher bounty than Law, and if Law's going to be a 2-bill and he's not Blackbeard status, then he can only be, 2.1. So I can definitely see Kid coming with a 2.1, which would be insane, being established as new Emperor of the Sea. And of course, if Killer comes in, I'm expecting Killer to have a bill on his head, just based on the fact that he is his right-hand man. And so, Kid greatness for sure, definitely looking forward to that. And now we switch over to the GOATs. Now I have 3 names listed here, man, because I do believe there is a giant possibility we're going to see 3 bounties in this chapter that are going to be nuts, all right? So I think we're going to see the bounties of Monkey D. Goatman, of Red-Haired Shanks, and of Blackbeard. And I think in the order in which I'm going to name them, they could potentially be in that level of numbers, right? From least to most, if barring the Luffy situation. And so I'm going to start off with Luffy because he is the most interesting bounty increase to me by far. because it's based on what the Gorosei want to put in regards to his entire situation with the Nika thing. Obviously wanting to keep that under wraps, but also now with the Great Cleansing, they just might not care anymore. So I think if this is not the final bounties, it's going to be 4 billion. 4 billion clean. Or the same bounty as Shanks, like literally the same bounty as Shanks. And the reason why I think that to be the case is because if this isn't the final bounty, Luffy needs to have a far enough increase to showcase just how crazy what he did was here, but still have him below Shanks and Blackbeard in regards to these are still 2 individuals that are out here on these seas that we need to overcome and or best in order to reach Pirate King status, right? Then we'll have the highest bounty. Or Luffy's going to come out of this arc with the highest bounty, and that number to me is still, like we've been talking about in the Afterthoughts and in the streams, 5,600,000,000, the Gomu number, 56. And so those are my numbers. And that honestly might be my final bounty predictions right there. Like 4 bill for right here, and then 5.6 bill final. That could very well be the case. But it is going to depend here, like I said, on the Gorosei situation. 4 bill minimum, and then the most wanted man in the history of the pirate verse at 5.6 bill if they're really serious about this Nika thing. So I think it's going to balance between there. Now, when it comes to Shanks and Blackbeard, this is the most interesting for me. If we see theirs, Blackbeard's I most certainly expect. Shanks, I think, will stay the same just based on, unless he was moving like a madman within the last 7 days, couple of weeks, where we were not going around the world, unless he was moving like a madman and he gets a massive increase. I do expect him to stay around the same line as Luffy to showcase that we can now meet type of thing. Like Luffy's gotten to Shanks' level as a pirate, as a notorious pirate on these seas. I do expect him to have a similar bounty. And like I said before, if not the same, like Presno brought that up to me about 2 weeks ago about a potential us having the same bounty, right? So and I think that'd be really cool. So if that's the case, that'd be awesome. But it would be something absolutely insane if Shanks' bounty does not move. And then we turn over to Blackbeard. And Blackbeard's bounty is now currently the highest out of the individuals that have not been defeated. Because Kaido and Big Mom, even though they're not going to be taken out of the picture, I'm going to assume their bounties are no longer going to be as high as they are, especially considering everything that just went down. And so with that being said, with Blackbeard now, us turning our attention to the final antagonists in the series, which are going to be Blackbeard and Instant Messenger Sama and Akainu and all these characters, I do expect Blackbeard to have the highest bounty out of the active pirates until he's defeated. And with that being said, I think we could potentially get a scenario where Blackbeard comes out of this rocking something like 5,250,000,000. And the reason why I believe that to be the case is when we look at what just took place around the world, the events that we do not know happened, these events are going to have massive repercussions on what's about to take place here in the final saga. And so could you imagine a scenario where we find out all of the bounties, and the final bounty that we see is Blackbeard's, and it's this huge, and we're left to, whether it be Luffy, whether it be a reaction around the world, everyone's wondering, why in the world is his bounty that high? And then our beloved Greenbull is like, y'all have no idea what took place around the world while y'all were here fighting Kaido. And maybe that's what'll even go on break, is us leading into the massive Reverie flashback, telling us that what Blackbeard did while they were doing this was massive, toward a 3 billion increase. And what I love so much about this is that it would keep the parallels between Blackbeard and Luffy, because we're all expecting Luffy's bounty to triple, right? We're all expecting it to triple to 4 bill or to 4.5 or to 5 or something, right? It's going to triple. And so what about if Blackbeard triples too? Or at the very least, he gets like a 3 million higher increase, like how Luffy's going to get, like 3 billion higher. And so to keep that parallel going, we have a scenario where Blackbeard's goes up just as much. But whereas Luffy took out Kaido, whatever Blackbeard did, whether it be with the ancient weapons, whether it be destroying an island, whether it be, you know, whatever Blackbeard did warranted a 3 bill increase that was huge. Huge. He is not only the most dangerous man roaming the seas. It's not named Dragon. Right? It's Dragon and Blackbeard and Luffy, right? These are the most dangerous individuals rocking out here. And so, what better way than to lead us into Reverie flashback mode than to have this massive bounty increase for Blackbeard and have us all being like, what in the world did Blackbeard do? What did he do? And that's when we start finding out the information, because we let into the 956, 957 stuff with Blackbeard being like, yo, nobody's going to take that. We're out of there. We're going to go get it. And man, if we were to cut to Blackbeard and see Aokiji, and if Greenbull breaks the news as well that he has Aokiji under him officially to everyone, it would just be so good. Like, there's so many possibilities here, but I definitely expect, like I said, coming into the final saga, I think Blackbeard's going to have the highest bounty. The highest bounty between the pirates. I still think Dragon has the highest bounty, period. But between pirates, I do think that Blackbeard will have the highest bounty, because he is going to be the individual that we're going to have to face in Laugh Tale in. And so with that being said, going with that dangerous and the way that Blackbeard is, they're going to put respect on his name, and I think he's going to have a really, really high bounty on his head. Like 5.250 mil, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and I think it'll be great from a storytelling standpoint to have something like that happen, so that the entire community, or all of us as readers, and then the people within the series, like, what in the world warranted that? And then we're given the explanation, or we're shown a flashback, or we're given glimpses into the things that took place while they were gone. And then I do wonder if Greenbull is going to break the information to Luffy in regards to Sabo and all that stuff, because, yo, it's about to go down, ladies and gentlemen. We're finally about to get the news, the information on everything we wanted to see. So, Sabo, Shanks, Blackbeard, Instant Messenger, Sama, Dragon, you know, Revolutionaries, it's time. We're heading to Final Saga. And so, I cannot wait to get a continuation of the Sabo stuff, and most certainly when it comes to the Blackbeard stuff, because it's like, whatever he did is in preparations to go get the One Piece. And so, he did something huge, man. And I cannot wait to see what it is that he went after, the repercussions of that, and if the world government and the Gorosei are going to be like, hold up, man. Because listen, at this point in time, the two pirates who Instant Messenger Sama had under there were Blackbeard and Luffy. And then Shirahoshi and Vivi were also there, and we have no idea what's about to happen with them, right? Now, Vivi, we assume, right, with the whole Cobra and Sabo stuff and all that happening, but Shirahoshi still, we have no idea. Is that who Blackbeard went after? You know, we have no idea. I know she's an ancient weapon, but that connection, how far does it go? How much does Instant Messenger Sama really care about that? So we gotta see. We gotta see on that end, but I am curious. This stuff is crazy. Cannot wait for it, man. I will look at the comments whenever I come back from reading the chapter, just to see what y'all's predictions were for the bounty, see how close we were and whatnot. But yeah, man, this has been the Afterthoughts. I cannot wait for this week's chapter, dog. It is going to be truly something special. Final chapter for a hiatus. It's gonna be really exciting, and I just know this chapter is gonna leave us with a month's worth of stuff to talk about, man. And I'm so excited. So I will see y'all next time. Let me know what y'all's bounty predictions are in the comment section down below, and I will see y'all for the chapter reaction. I'll continue to upload videos throughout the week, but like I said, we'll be steering clear of the comments until we come back. I don't want to risk anything for this chapter, man. Not for this chapter, and for the chapter after, like 1054. Yeah. So excited, dude. I will see y'all. This has been the Afterthoughts. Take care.